Chapter 8. Bert Perkins. I took a taxi to the airport early the next morning. I didn't want to risk anyone identifying Annie's car, so I left her at the hotel. "I can't tell you exactly where I'm going," I told her, "but I will be in touch as soon as I can. Let's use email. And be nice to Lucien, okay? Oh, and drive carefully." Then I left. Airports are wonderfully anonymous places. No one knows who all the other people are. The crowds gather, mix together, then go off through the departure gates to the four corners of the world. As they leave, new groups of tired or excited travelers arrive. But airports are also dangerous places, especially if you are a wanted person. Those video cameras are everywhere, eyes that never close for sleep. And there are those apparently ordinary men, so ordinary that no one notices them. Men who sit for long hours, checking the crowds, pretending to read their newspapers. Occasionally, one of them will take out a mobile phone and make a call. On the other side of the airport, another man will reply. Sometimes police will then appear and lead away an ordinary-looking passenger. This was the trap that I had to escape from. It was a risk. I still wasn't sure if I'd been followed. I felt the palms of my hands grow sweaty as I approached the check-in desk. But I needn't have worried. I passed through without a problem. The flight was called soon afterwards. It wasn't full, and I had a window seat in a row by myself. I thought back over the events of the past 2 days, trying to make sense of the attack at the river. How had they got together, Nina and Hyde? And how had they found me? My mind wandered as I thought about all the parallel lives going on at this moment below me. I imagined Annie, starting the long drive back to her lover in Toulouse. I thought of Nina. Where would she be now? I thought of Hugo Strang, the ambitious country director in MI6. Then, quite suddenly, the figure of Herbert Perkins came into my mind. What would Bert be doing now, I wondered. In fact, Herbert Perkins, or Bert to friends, was doing exactly what he did every weekday morning. As regular as clockwork, he got up at 6 and made his wife Doris a cup of tea, which he left by her bed. He had his own breakfast of tea, toast and marmalade, alone. Then he had a bath, shaved, and dressed carefully in a clean white shirt. Doris always left one out for him, his grey suit, and his old army tie. He listened to the 7 o'clock news on the BBC, went up to give Doris a goodbye kiss, and left the house at exactly 7:15. He carried his old black briefcase in one hand and a newspaper in the other. He walked to South Woodford Underground Station, and by 7:30 he was sitting in a corner seat on the Central Line train, reading the sports pages. Anyone looking at him would think he was just another office worker, starting another day in a dull office job. From the outside, he was indeed a grey man, in his mid-50s, average height, glasses, his grey hair carefully combed to cover a bald patch. A typical example of middle-aged respectability. He had lived in the same house in Woodford for over 25 years, ever since he joined MI6 from the army. His daily routine never changed. He left the house at 7:15 in the morning and returned at 6:30 in the evening. At weekends, he would work in the garden, watch TV with Doris, and occasionally go down to the local pub for a beer. Herbert Perkins was not, however, quite what he seemed to be. His father had been a sergeant major in the army. He had been a big man with a big voice. When Bert finished secondary school, He wanted to go to university. His father would not hear of it.
"The army was good enough for me, Bert, and it'll be good enough for you. Forget all these silly ideas about university. I'll get you into the army. It'll make a man of you."
Bert's mum made a weak attempt to change her husband's mind, but it was too late. At the age of 19, Bert went into the army. Bert was good at physics and maths, so he went into the Signals Regiment, a unit dealing with all forms of communication in the army. He was good, and soon afterwards he was moved to a special unit working on code breaking. It seemed he had a special gift for this kind of work. Not long after that, MI6 discovered him. He transferred out of the army and into MI6. And so, at 25, Bert found himself decoding messages from Soviet nuclear submarines and East German agents. One evening, he met Doris at a church dance. It was love at first sight. They married a year later, and a year after that, their son Peter was born. They moved into the house in Woodford, and life settled into a steady routine. Bert's career steadily developed. He could never hope for the very top jobs. He had no university degree. But those who do get the top jobs depend on people lower down in the organization. They depend on people who can provide information at a moment's notice, who can recall events from far back in the past.